Hello, how are you doing? Good evening and a very warm welcome to 8 till late from youtube.com/Wi-Fi sheep with me, Tom. And apologies straight up for being 6 minutes late, late to the stream. You wouldn't think I've had nearly all day to prep for this. I still don't make it on air dead on 8. I don't think I've managed to make it once on air live at the right time. But anyway, we're here now. Great to have your company again this evening. A few things to talk about, and mainly today I want to get straight back onto the Tiny Basic Computers project that we have been doing. We've been doing two projects, the main one being the Tiny Basic Computers prototype build for Project Rio, which we're building here in the live program. And then those of you that are regulars and are subscribers to the main YouTube Wi-Fi Sheep Tech channel will have seen that the first Project Rio home make build video has now gone up and live, and I kept saying it would, and I promised it would, and it was meant to be September, and then we got to literally the 30th or something, and that was when it went up, and then I think it went live to everybody on 1st or 2nd of October or something like that. So anyway, that's live. That is the main series that we're going to be doing here on Wi-Fi Sheep. So we'll get on with that shortly. So obviously want to say hello to everybody. If you want to chime in on the chat, you do need to be a subscriber, but you can chime in. Already we see Lee is here, so hello and a good evening, Lee. Thank you for joining us. I see there wasn't a film night happening then, if you're here. But you can, of course, chime in, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about anything we're actually doing at the moment. It can be something related, or whatever you want to say. Please do feel free rather to chime in on the chat. And for those of you that are actually watching as a pre-record, so not live but afterwards, obviously you can drop a comment and we can carry on the discussion that way. Right then, before we get going, do you have a need for reliable and cost-effective web hosting for your blog, business or personal website? If so, then look no further than Cheap Host UK. Cheap Host UK's basic plan starts from only 58p per month. That's £6.99 a year. And if you're needing a little bit more, Cheap Host UK's premium packages start from £1.41 per month or £16.99 a year, complete with a free .co.uk domain. New customers can also take advantage of an extra 10% discount when purchasing any first-time hosting package or domain name from Cheap Host UK. Use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP, to get an extra 10% off. For reliable, cost-effective web hosting and domains, look no further than Cheap Host UK. Full details and an affiliate link are in the description to this video. That's right, so head over to Cheap Host UK, our sponsor here at 8 till late on youtube.com/Wi-Fi sheep. Details and links are, as always, in the description to this video, and there is a 10% discount on all domain name and web hosting products. Just use discount code SHEEP, that's SHEEP. In the chat, we'll say hello to Martin as well, who joins us again. Hello, good evening, Martin. Thanks so much for being here once more. And this is an opportunity just to say hello and thank you to all our brilliant Patreon and YouTube channel members, for which Lee is third one down from the top there. Lee is a Patreon backer, and we say thank you to everybody who contributes. Really, really do appreciate it. If you want to join them in supporting the channel, you can either by Patreon at patreon.com/Wi-Fi sheep. I actually noticed Patreon have changed their corporate branding again for the third time in as many months or something. So that will need updating, but it's still the same Patreon. So patreon.com/Wi-Fi sheep. Alternatively, YouTube channel members, if you don't want to stray onto another platform, YouTube offer a membership tier system, and those start from 99p all the way up to £2.99 British pound sterling. Those prices are adjusted for your local currency wherever you happen to be in the world. The join button can be found on the main channel page at youtube.com/Wi-Fi sheep. Right, so what's been happening? Well, last week we were kind of dominated by Pi 5. Um, I'm pleased to say things have settled down a little bit there. I've still had the odd, um, what I can say, knobhead comment from people who get through the filters. You say anything even remotely critical about Pi 5 or Pi in general, and you just get this barrage of sewage from, I don't know where these people come from, and the comments are just ridiculous. But it's not been too bad. It's been a bit more uniform this time, let's say, and I think most people are intelligent enough to have an intelligent discussion about it. Nothing really new to say. We're just waiting for those of us that aren't sort of privy to having preview products. I'm not one of them, obviously. So we're waiting for the public to get hold of Pi 5. When they do, of course, we'll review it here and we'll find out what it does. I'm struggling to think of anything to actually get it to do that a Pi 4 wouldn't do, in all honesty. I've watched one or two videos because I was thinking maybe things like the GameCube Dolphin emulator or PlayStation 2 emulator, something like that. And people said they can't get them to compile, which is a problem. So we'll think of something really clever at the time. We'll think of something really clever for that. But that's coming up. Shall we? Yeah. Oh, that's right. Before I forget, just a reminder then, because I'm going on about it every week. Nearly forgot myself then. The RISC-OS Christmas Market. I'm going to be at that show. It's a physical event. I don't want to quite call it a show, but it's an event happening in the West Midlands on the 9th of December. It's free to attend or to visit. There's no entrance fee. It is a small village hall computer event. Saying that, if you actually go to the website, which is mug.riscos.org, I have to be honest with you, I've been very impressed with the amount of extra traders and exhibitors they've now got. They've got all the usual ones, but they've almost got the full stack that you'd normally get at a RISC-OS Acorn computer show. So that's quite impressive. So it's going to be a very interesting event, and I actually generally think it might now be worthwhile visiting. But it's going to be, again, it's a small event, it's free to enter, so expectations have to be managed. I'm going to be there all day. Look forward to seeing you if you can make it. Right, new things then. Well, first of all, you might have ever so slightly noticed that I need to get in frame without bashing into things. I'm a little bit taller, a bit higher than I was in previous weeks, and that's because I've got a new desk chair. Look at this, right. I'm going to regret doing this now, but look at this. Hey, it actually spins and everything. It's great. My old desk chair was absolutely terrible, and you could hear it creaking in videos and when we've done live streams. And it's been like sinking lower and lower, so I've been sort of sitting literally on the floor. So now I'm sitting in a much better, was better for me, but obviously it means I'm a little bit higher, so I've had to try and adjust all the cameras, and that's why you're starting to get, up here actually, started to just get lens, or the lighting is just catching in the corners, but a few tweaks are still needed, but I'm much happier, and so will my back be, which would be nice. Should we go on and have a look at some things I picked up this week then? Now, I don't intend to keep buying things, it just keeps happening. So I was in a local, well, we call them charity shops, but if you're overseas, you've probably known them as thrift shop kind of things, junk shops, that kind of thing. And I was having a rummage around, and at first I didn't see anything, right? And there was nothing really in there of any interest, just the old crockery and clothes and that kind of thing. And then on the way out, in the kind of open, like an open foyer type thing that it was covered, but it was open on three sides, this sort of entranceway, like porch type thing. I noticed this. That, by the way, wasn't actually part of it. I'll come back to why that's there in a minute. But charity shop, original Nintendo Wii, which, believe it or not, is actually a system that I don't own. and I've never owned. I don't know if it works. I don't see why it wouldn't work. It looks in relatively good condition. It just depends if the disk drive is gone or not, but we'll have to find out. But yeah, overall, let's get that in camera. It's looking good. The advantage of the Wii's, of course, is they are actually GameCube compatible. So those are GameCube cartridge slots, GameCube controllers. I've got a GameCube, never done anything with it. I do have one. So it means I do actually have a couple of GameCube discs, controllers and things. So there is a way of testing it. I'm just seeing the other side. Oh, it is USB. I thought it was USB. It does have 2 USBs. Yeah, so it came with a console, it came with a power supply, and it came with the stand, and it came with a copy of Wii Sports, and the disc is actually not too bad nick. What it didn't come with was an AV cable or a Wii remote, nunchuck, or the sense bar that you actually need to use it as a Wii. This, which I think I showed you 2-3 weeks ago or something, when I was back in that same thrift store, and I picked this up because it is a Nintendo Wii AV cable, but it's the same fixing, which I think is compatible with other systems all the way back to N64, and even Super Nintendo, I think, uses the same AV standard. So I picked that cable up, and I think that cable might have actually meant to be part of this, and they've lost things over time and just split it up and sold separately. So there it is now. How much do you think I paid? Do you want to have a guess? £7.50. Minus that, which was 50p. So £8. £8. Which would be about 10 US dollars. Minus the controller and the sense bar. But not bad. Interesting architecture on the Wii. It was PowerPC. I forget it was G4, G5, IBM Motorola PowerPC. ATI Radeon graphics card. So depending on how good this is and if it actually powers up okay, I've not tested it because I've not had time. It should power up. There are things we can do as well as play games. There's other things you can do. You can actually jailbreak these, run Linux. It's all PowerPC Motorola based, but there's Linux you can run and all sorts of things. So this might be a good thing to play around with. In the chat, Alicia said, good deal. I thought maybe 15. Yeah, well, when I saw £7.50, I was like, yeah. It does have a pack label. I don't know if that's just the power supply, if they've actually turned it on. I suppose we could just like try it right now, couldn't we? If you don't mind. I know you're all here to watch me solder things together, but we could just like see, couldn't we? I mean, it wouldn't take 5 seconds just to do a very, very quick power up and see what happens. I just wonder, I haven't got my capture card set up. Shall I grab a monitor? Just a little thing here that you can then see. What do you reckon? Yeah, let's do that. And you're all there screaming at me, no, Tom, we don't want to know, we're not interested. Get on with the soldering. God damn you. Seriously though, if you have major objections to this, do let me know right now and we'll just abort. But if we're all right to carry on for a minute, then right. So that'll be the monitor that you'll see. That's the AV, so we won't get any sound, but we'll get vision, which is good enough. So we go there like that. I plan to show you, I honest to God did not plan to test this today, but while we're here, let's see what happens. There we go, that does fit. Third time lucky, if it does fit. Power brick is there. Right. I need hang on, I need a power supply for that now, don't I? That's clever. We've got a power brick for that. When I say that, I mean the monitor. Yes, we do. I've got an AV supply here, which will do fine. So, right. Just in the chat, we say hello to Paula B. Again, I'm terrible with everyone. You know, those of you that are regular, I struggle to pronounce your usernames. I really must learn them properly because, you know, we're going to be doing this every blooming week otherwise. But good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. At many car boot sales, you're never more than 10 foot away from a Wii lot, or Wii, LOL. The £7.50 is probably a reflection of the missing components. Yes, true. Wii and PS2s are bargains right now, and they're not classic yet. I picked up my PlayStation 2 Slimline. I actually got, I picked that up from somewhere else. It was another charity shop actually, and I got an absolute bargain on that. And it's a brilliant system, which I do want to do a bit more of on the channel actually. Which brings me on to something else I want to talk about in a little bit. But right, okay, so monitor on, AV is on, monitor is plugged in. There we go. So you won't get sound because there's no. This monitor doesn't support sound. These aren't sound. They're two AV feeds. So okay, the console has gone into standby mode. Just see if I can show you that. Doesn't really show up on there. You see the red LED? Okay. We get the half warning. It's booted. I can't press A because I don't have a controller. So we won't be pressing A anytime soon, but that might be as far as we get. I need to get a controller. Looks all right though. Yeah, that was exciting, everybody, wasn't it? What I would give for a Nintendo Wii controller right now. Yeah. Oh well, look, it worked. Just hitting the eject button. Okay. Well, that's as far as we're going to get with that test. That was a bit anticlimactic, but yeah, so I need to get some bits for this. I have looked online. You can get stuff. Oh, no, there we go. It's gone through of its own accord. Oh, blimey, we're a bit washed out. That's the screen. Actually, that looks really washed out to me, but that don't look too bad. But there we are. And interesting. Very interesting. It's got the homebrew channel already installed. And the USB, and yeah, that was the stuff I was going to do. So very, very interesting. Okay. Yeah. So we'll need to investigate this a bit more, but I'm so pleased that it does appear to be working okay. And it already has the bits I kind of need installed, which is really good. So yeah. Definitely a project. Who knows? We might even do this for Christmas. I am planning to try and do my proper content. Let's just power down. I say proper content. Last year's Christmas content, I got hugely sidetracked with everything. And I mean everything. So we ended up doing that advent calendar daily thing, which nearly killed me. And then we did, what did we do? We did the farming simulator special, which unfortunately bombed a bit. It didn't really get the kind of interest I was hoping it would. So this year I am planning, we are going to be looking at a series of retro-y console video game systems, things like the PS2, that we've now got a Wii to play with, NES possibly, so we're going to do another bit of NES content. I got stuff that was planned for last year which we didn't do, which we might as well do this year for Christmas. So that's kind of the theme for Wi-Fi Sheep at Christmas. And then I'm going to put the farm sim video, which I still think was a great video, but no one really went for it. I'm going to put that onto channel 2 as sort of repeat Christmas content for channel 2. But yeah, that looks, it's all right. If the discs read, then we're onto something there. Might need a clean, but actually very, very pleased with that. In all, I think should be about no less than £20 to buy bits I'm missing or replicas of the bits I'm missing off eBay, if I don't find anything cheaper. So it's not a huge, you know, have a Wii system for under 30 quid is not bad, and it's also like interested me actually to have. Let's have a good chat. So Lee saying we had a new Wii and then bought a PS2 second hand with loads of games when my buy was around 6. Well, I've been picking up PlayStation stuff again because, you know, it's something I intend to look at. I've got them here actually. So stuff I've been picking up again. This was actually bought especially. These ones were off eBay because I needed these particular titles that I couldn't find locally. But these are actually bought ready to do some demonstration videos on the channel. Again, last Christmas, all this stuff all around game consoles and the technical side of game consoles and testing hardware with them and stuff. And we just didn't do it because I got sidetracked. That one in particular, which was a charity shop pickup, I did not pay anything like what's on the labels. In television, that one's a hoot. So, you know, we'll be looking at that. This one has got disgustingly dusty, but GTA San Andreas, which is a game I've only played since picking up this copy, and I've not had time to play it, which is a sad reality. As an adult, you can afford to get all this stuff, all the games you could ever want, and you have no time to play them. Right, what should we do next? Oh yeah, right, okay. Just make everything push around. This came in the post a couple of days ago. Right, people, are you ready for this? What do you think that is? Bought assembled like that. Comes assembled. Single board PCB. Yeah. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. Go blurry a minute, so just excuse me. That's the aperture. That is the wrong thing to be pressing. Let's bring it into focus if we can. There we go. What do we reckon? Lee reckons 6502. No, the microcontroller there is a PIC microcontroller. I know you're thinking screen, keypad. Interesting. And I know many of you are going to think it's some sort of single board computer, which it sort of is. Apple something? Nope. Right. I'll put you out of your misery. Anyone else want to throw a guess in very quick before I put you out of your misery? I'm going to refocus this. Well, you know, give you an extra minute or two. There we go. Any last takers? No. I'll give you, the chat's always behind, so I'll give you 30 seconds while I talk. Because your terminal? No. Good guess, Lee. Okay, I'm going to put you out of your misery. Right. This, believe it or not, is a model train controller. It's not exactly open source, but it's a homebrew cottage industry digital model train controller, which I won't dwell on too much because I know this is going to be of limited interest. But when I saw it, it looked like a Kim 1 type. You know, you punch your code in there and you have a screen. Power in there, voltage regulator, PIC microcontroller controlled. These two here, this B plus and B minus, are the wires that actually go to your model railway track. And it's a controller for a digital system called DCC, or Digital Command Control, which we've had now for about 20 years, supported by all the major manufacturers, including Hornby. And basically it allows trains to be digitally controlled and can be mapped on a layout, and you can send signals via DCC to the trains, which means you can have more than one train independently running on the same piece of track at the same time. And there's all sorts of other functions, including sound, which I'll come on to in a minute. But my system was a little bit basic. They go to buy nice ones or proper ones. Excuse me. They go for about nearly 400 quid now, which is a bit expensive. A bit out of my budget. I'm doing some more train stuff, which is going to be side projects that we're going to do on Wi-Fi Chic Channel 2, which is why I'm not going to try and dwell on it too much here. But look out, because coming up into Christmas, I will be doing projects, including a full review and use case for this on 2.wificheap.co.uk. The link to the channel should be in the description to this video. If you haven't done so already and you're remotely interested in seeing how this lot works, do make sure you have subscribed if you haven't done so already. But yeah, no, this has been good. So £30, including the power brick transformer, and I have had it tested, and it works really well. So you actually punch your numbers. Each locomotive has a number. You punch your number in here. Got menu. Stop is for stopping everything on the track, and then this potentiometer here is actually your power controller. So that turns throttle up, throttle down, etc. Very, very cool that. So bought that this week actually. And then just very quickly, staying on a train theme, this, which is Hornby's brand new Bluetooth digital system. See, if you think model trains is just plastic toy train on the track with 2 wires to a motor and 12 volts, think again. We have moved on miles beyond that. HMDCC, which is Hornby's new digital system. And where's the box for the other thing gone, which I've now mislaid? I'm sending everything flying. It's in here. This system replaces this system, which was Hornby's earlier unit. Now, if you might remember, for those of you that saw the Sprog DCC demonstration, which was Raspberry Pi controlled digital trains, the video done a few years ago for Wi-Fi Sheep at Christmas, I was demoing what was then the current technology, which was this digital sound decoders. And they look a little bit, this is just a standard decoder, but they look a little bit like that. You have a plug that fits into a standard in the locomotive chassis. That's the decoder. And the sound ones then have 2 wires and a speaker that comes out. And you can control these via the digital system through packeted data sent through the rails. And that's how these worked. And then Hornby replaced it with these. So instead of running, or as well as running packeted data for the track itself, these new digital decoders can just take power from the track, and they actually connect via an app via Bluetooth from Android or iOS, and you can actually drive stuff from your phone or tablet computer without needing a base unit like I just showed you. And if we take a quick look in here, you get this plastic injection piece, which is all the mounts for the speaker. Here is the actual sound decoder chip, which looks, you know, very, very similar. And it actually has a Bluetooth aerial on the PCB. And hiding somewhere in here, which I'll find it in, oh, there we go. This, which is the actual speaker, which is called a sugar cube speaker. It's absolutely tiny, but this allows you to have trains that have, you know, noises, diesel engines, horns, that kind of thing. And you can actually upload via Bluetooth sound profiles to these chips. So instead, with the old system, of having to make very specific decoders, so this is a class 47 diesel, this decoder can only ever be a 47 diesel. So you had to make individual decoders for every type of train. You make one decoder, and then the user via app uploads sound profiles provided by Hornby, and they download those for free, upload, that kind of thing. So that's that. I will go into this in a lot more detail on channel 2. I don't want to sort of dog channel 1 with all of this, but yes, as Leah's just pointed out, high tech, extremely high tech, very, very cool, especially if you like miniatures, model railways, that kind of thing. And it syncs in so well with computing because the two worlds have just collided in a kind of fantastic way. So we've had this technology for about 20 years now. These are the budget stuff. You can spend hundreds just on these decoders. These were, if you get hold of them, were about 45 to 50 pounds. These are 65 pounds per chip. That's just the chip. The locos themselves are still stupidly expensive these days, which is why I use second-hand locomotives mostly. But anyway, watch out for that over on channel 2. Right, I think something else will come to me if something else I need to talk to you about, but I can't remember what it is right now. Yeah, okay, so that's show and tell for this week. God, I buy a lot of rubbish. I must give this impression that I just buy things all the time, and I kind of don't. But I think when you've got projects on the go or stuff that you kind of need to get done now, you know, you just kind of need to get it done and purchased for whatever reason. Anyway, let's get on to Project Rio and the power supply, which I messed up. Now, we're going to go all fancy. I've got my slightly knackered workboard that we'll use. A soldering iron and damp sponge is already here. So let's get that soldering iron heated up. Try not to melt the cable if I can help it. Something like that. There we go. Right, where do we get to? Well, last time we were pulling the power supply apart because I kind of really messed it up. Since then, and I don't think I can... do you know what? I almost wondered about putting the other lens on so we could get in a bit closer. And I thought, no, it's fine because, you know, we want those wide shots for show and tell. But now I'm thinking, could have put the other lens on. I cannot. Can I really adjust the lens midstream? Would that be acceptable? Oh, God, that's throwing the roll book out the window if I did. And then it probably won't be any better. Oh, do you know what? Let's just do it. And we'll talk about the consequences of why I did that later on. So I could throw you to a holding slide of, you know, one moment while I change the lens. Or we could be like super unprofessional and actually try and change the lens whilst you're looking through the camera. And then I'll be like, why was that a good idea? What do you reckon? I'm going to really regret this decision. Come on. And it won't come out now. Oh, there we go. This is going to be interesting because I've never seen what happens. Oh, there we go. I've generally never seen what happens when you run one of these cameras without the lens. Right, so battery lens just come off. That's the zoom lens. This one here that's going to go on. Let's get that right around. There we are. Yeah. So we'll just take the caps off that. Pop those onto this one to protect it. Instantly regret doing this, but let's have a look. So that goes on there. Oh, there we go. It's just there's 2 screws to tighten the lens on. There we are. Right. That was exciting. Lens change live midstream. I've never ever done that before. But now then, probably going to be a little limited on our focus here. See if we can, because I can get nice and close, but then I can't. I was having this job before. I can't actually focus. You sort of can if you bring the aperture right down, just like that. And it makes for a very, very dark picture. It's about getting your depth of field right. Yeah, so you can get quite a nice close up, but it's very, very dark. You have to open the. Let's see if we get a compromise. And now you're all screaming at me, just stop fiddling with the damn camera. No, come on. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. Failing that, just open it full whack. Nearly. Oh, that's not too bad. See, I've got a strange just on the side of the lens. See here, I've just put my finger. You can see there's like a slight curve on one side, so it's not quite right. But yeah, this is why you don't do this. Well, you do you know what? That's better. That'll do. Right, I'm good all night, and I have to admit that was probably really boring, which I apologise. So that's a little bit better. I mean, I think before what I have done is I've like sort of brought them up, worked a bit closer to the camera, sort of done something like that, which has worked, but that'll be okay. Right. Where were we? Oh yes, right. What was I doing? Okay. So last time, and I think I admitted this because Martin, who's in the chat at the moment, brought this up 3 weeks ago now, when I initially made this circuit, that basically barrel connectors have 3 pins, right? And the middle pin is actually needed. And I sort of went, oh, I don't need the middle pin. It's fine. So I cut the middle pin off, bent the 2 out like this. And then we soldered on to our board, kind of like that. Yeah. And it didn't work, of course, because it needs the middle pin. So earlier today, I took a power drill, and it took a power drill, not a Dremel or a mini drill. It took a power drill. I went and drilled a hole, right, through there. We might have to redo a lot of the wire out because that started to fall off because it was done quite quickly, to say the least. So I got a new barrel connector. Now, another issue I found is with the center pins of the barrel connectors. They're too wide to fit most jacks. I then found this, which I was looking for 2 weeks ago, and it's one of these breadboard power supply jobbies, and I was testing this with the power supply, my bench supply, which is this thing here, and I was trying to run it through 5 volts, and I didn't realize where the decimal point was, and I ran 50 volts through the damn device, which obviously blew the voltage regulator sky high. So this thing doesn't work properly, but what I'm thinking is we could take this barrel connector. This barrel connector has got a thinner pin inside. Where see how thick the one is inside the ones we're using versus this one. So what I'm thinking is to actually take this off this board, and then we'll plant that into this creation that we're building to make our power supply for the Project Rio unit. That's the thinking. So we need to do a bit of desoldering. So that's the solder sucker, and we need my favourite, the blue tack. I'm going to put this upside down, kind of like that, so it doesn't roll around on the table. And we'll see if we can get this desoldered. So first thing to do, flux the three sort of pins or connectors that we need to take off. I need to buy some more solder because I'm getting low, but this stuff I've had for over a decade and it's lasted really, really well. So soldering iron, wet sponge, clean up soldering iron. And what we'll do is we'll actually add some fresh solder. Even though we want to take this off, we'll just put some fresh solder on. There we go. Because it will make life a little bit easier when we come to desolder. So desoldering. This is one of these better quality metal solder pumps. And it's just a case of heating up straight over. So you push the pump down like that. I remember the first time I used one of these on Wi-Fi ship, I didn't use it right. People went, "You're not using it right." I have learnt so much since then, in the 7 years I've been doing this channel. Oh, by the way, we're having a little bit of a channel anniversary. I didn't want to make a big deal of it, but we've surpassed 5,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And we've now passed 200 videos, or 200 live videos. There's actually nearly 250. If you are, it's not quite 50, I think it's like 48 or something. But if you are a Patreon or channel member, there is an exclusive playlist filled with some exclusive, never published content, or stuff that's kind of been retired or taken off the channel for various reasons, but it's still there for your viewing pleasure. But publicly, including these live streams, I think I'm mounting the blue tack. Which only snare using blue tack can make a bit of a gooey mess quite quickly. I don't know if I'm going to get this off, you know. I might have to pair of pliers and brute force it through. But yeah, 7 years and we are where we are. I've always been a little bit frustrated about lack of sort of progress with the channel and viewers and stuff. And I put it down to not being an American-based channel. And YouTube's algorithm was just sort of anti anything that wasn't in the United States. And that probably is true. But I forget where I saw it. I think it was on X, formerly Twitter. I saw it the other night that someone said that the YouTube algorithm doesn't like content that's not in 1080p. Which had never occurred to me before. Everything I've done to date on Wi-Fi Sheep has always been in 720p, which although it's HD, technically it's not the full 1080 sort of high definition standard. So YouTube doesn't show the content on this channel as being HD available because it's only 720p. The reason for that was a legacy reason. When we first started, I didn't have particularly good equipment. So I shot in 720p, and that was also a kind of a legacy thing from my time doing broadcasting at university, when we went from tape-based standard definition to the first sort of HD formats. And we were told back then to basically we were going to shoot in 720p as the kind of standard because it was a little easier to work with, smaller file sizes. and easier to compress, easier to compile and edit with, especially with computers at the time that didn't have the RAM. You're talking about machines that didn't necessarily even have a gig of RAM back when I was at university. And I guess I've just stuck with that, really. The mantra that I couldn't afford huge terabyte plus hard drives to be storing all this huge video data, where if I shot in 720p, it's still a nice HD format. And I don't think if we don't get this out, I'll give up on this, and we'll use one of the other things. I just hope we could get it out. I need one of those mechanical solder, like proper solder sucker, really. Hang on. But yeah, so that's probably why I may have sort of shot myself in the foot a little bit there by not going up to HD or full 1080p when I was meant to. By the way, with this, what I'm doing is I'm just going to get a screwdriver under here and see if I can just prise the thing off, which is a little difficult to do. I need like free hands, really, but try and do this without burning myself as well. There we go. Just the most awkward way of doing this, but anyway, to conclude my story, the point I was trying to make, yeah, it was cheaper and more affordable for me to shoot everything in 720p, plus the fact my own equipment originally used on this channel that's no longer actually in use for filming didn't support 1080. But that was sort of, that's 7 years I've stuck with this format. Plus the fact the channel graphics packages are all done in 720p. They didn't upscale particularly well. Not everything, but most of it was done 720p standard. So it would need a major overhaul of the channel to go up definition. That's so annoying. I'm nearly out. But I'm pleased to say the plan at the moment, although it was meant to be midsummer, and it doesn't happen because I got busy. The plan at the moment is that we're going to make the switch on the channel to 1080p as standard after Christmas. So this year will be the last 720p year of Wi-Fi Sheep, and the plan also is to redo the entire graphics package for the channel. And if you are a channel member or Patreon backer, you will have already seen the sort of the ongoing saga of the graphics package, and you'll also seen the new package for 2024, including brand new logo. We'll still be Wi-Fi Sheep, but we're going to have brand new logo, brand new package, probably a brand new theme tune, new slides, new everything, basically all to 1080. So we'll actually be going up in the world, and we'll be putting out proper 1080 content, which means I'm going to need to buy loads of new hard drives because it's going to make all the videos absolutely massive in size. Saying that, I've now got the computing power to edit that stuff, so but that's the reason why this channel didn't go HD straight away, and why we don't now. Also, I got it out. Thanks for your patience, I got it out. Also, just check how badly that's been damaged or not. That's weird. That almost looks like it's... Does that come up disintegrated? It has. Yeah. Don't think that'll be too much of a problem. Right. So, anyway, yeah. So we got that out. Some other bits on here I can recover as well at a later date to be useful, but we've got the barrel jack off, and hopefully that barrel jack will be okay, even if it's a little bit broken. I think I'm going to need to buy or order some better one of these with the smaller pitch, because a lot of power transformers are struggling to fit, which is also annoying. Where are we in the chat then? Martin says, congratulations. Well, thank you. Yes. Long time coming, but a really good audience, you know, and members and people like yourselves that are here watching. So yeah, it's a good quality, intelligent audience and subscriber base, you know, which you all are. Where are we? Paulo, it is Paulo, isn't it? Paulo B. I think a lot of American YouTube personalities make their names by demonstrating how to reverse the yellowing of plastics. I like that, yeah. We've done retro. Oh, that's good. We've done retro writing here on the channel. Oh God, when we were back in Kidderminster, when Wi-Fi, start again. When Wi-Fi Chic first started, we were actually based in Kidderminster. I think some of you know that. We're not there now. We're in Shropshire now, but this was Worcestershire, so we were kind of like the next county along that way. And I actually did retro writing on BBC Micros and things. I haven't done any in quite a few years, mainly because we haven't really had the weather for it. You know, you don't get the weather here, especially now. You know, we retro writing season will be end of May to perhaps the beginning of August if the weather plays ball. So I haven't really done any in quite a long time, but you know, I know what you mean. The stuff I have done has generally worked quite well, to be fair, but it's been a good few years. So I'm just looking at this blooming adapter that I've broken. Adapter barrel plug. So I'm just looking at the chat there. Time to get back to your patio. Did you see the video with the patio on it? That was terrible. Right. I did a video for the photo shoot for one of the first editions of Pixel Addict magazine I did. And I've just realised the video hasn't frozen. Sorry, it's way behind, lagging again. That always froze me. Yeah, and we did something on the patio in between snowstorms, photographing a BBC Micro. The patio here is terrible. Not our house, to be fair. But the patio here looks really like broken up, rundown concrete, which is great for an aesthetic, rundown, sort of derelict shots. An embarrassment to admit. I'm just wondering, should I put a bit of glue on that or should we leave it? I'll just show you what's happened. So, I've got this little bit of plastic which I've just broken off, unfortunately, which we could just put a little bit of glue on. Or I could just try, and you shouldn't really do this with a soldering iron because you ruin the soldering irons, but we could just try tiny little bits. Let's just clean up. Tiny little plastic weld. Like that. There we go. That's back on. There we are. I'll show you that. Nope, not going to focus. There you go. Just about make it out. So that's plastic weld back on. Still looks absolutely terrible, but at least it's going to stop the as it's shattered again. Oh, for God's sake. We might have to give up on this in a minute. It's taking too much time and we need to go and use a new part and just get on with it. Oh God, you can smell the plastic. I mean, it'll probably be all right for what we need. So right, okay. Slightly dodgy, slightly broke power connector, ready to go. In the chat, so I did get my Acorn Electron. Look, I did get my Acorn Electron. I think you mean 2 look great with Retro Bright. C64 was a failure, as it was too yellow to begin with, so I sprayed it blue. Oh, well, yeah, that's fair enough. I had contemplated doing that, well, not blue, but with one of the BBC Micros actually. I had an idea for something, but never really got around to it. Right, so this barrel connector. So we will, let's see now, we'll bend that one, bend that pin out, but bend that pin. I don't know if this is going to work now, in all honesty. This is so brittle. Bend that pin out. Right. It should be all right because it's not going to, even if it even if it touches the board, it isn't going to short. So that center pin is now, that's ground on center. That one I don't think is actually attached to anything. And then this pin underneath is live. No, sorry. Ground on center. That's live on the back. Right, I know what I'm doing. So what I've done is I've drilled this hole in the board. So we should be able to now pop that back roughly where we had it before, which is kind of like that. And then we've got the pin that we can tap through the other side. So it's not going to be amazing, but it will do the job. So I think this will work. We'll scope it out in a minute, just test it, just to see we've got continuity. So let's just put the blue tap back on. Preferably not on the side I'm going to be soldering with. I think this one will be all right for our needs. We'll have to rewire wrap after we're done. By the way, I know we haven't tested this, but the principles of it do actually work. So I think I've got this in the right way around. So we'll just tin the 2 bits we are going to connect. Bit of fresh solder. That's on like that. There we go. Brilliant bit of impromptu surface mount. New pin is through there. Martin says, plug the jack in and test your, but I fully intend to test these pins, don't worry. So, in fact, do you know what? We're going to do that right. We're going to do that right now because I'm not repeating what I did 2 weeks ago. Because subscriber count starts dropping dramatically as everyone goes, he's an idiot. Can you tell I might be making this up as I go along? I'm trying to find what the hell did I just do with the monitor, because I had another barrel jack with 2 ends disconnected. What have I done with that? Hang on, it's here somewhere. Do you know what? I desperately need to sort this damn room out because I'm trying to find stuff. And you know when you order stuff and then it disappears on you? Oh, it's under here, that's why. And then you're like, I swear I ordered that, and you can't find it. It is so annoying. There we go, that's what I want. Method in the madness, that is what I want. Here we go. Right, so this is out of that monitor I showed you. So what it is, it's basically a plug that allows you to, a jack on one end, cable on the other. That should plug into there, and it does. Excellent. Right. So what we'll do is we'll just trim this end down. I do have a proper pair of wire strippers there, but can I be asked to use them? Or shall I just use these snips and everyone can scream at me, no, don't do that, don't do it like that, you know. So many people do. Send the flux flying. That's one. Probably should have disconnected it first really, but never mind. Come on. Come on. There we go. It's good enough. That's two. And then we'll just twist the ends. If you're just joining us and wondering what on earth is going on tonight, please tell me, because I don't know. No, we are building the power supply in for the Project Rio computer because we've had power issues on the prototype. And then I went and messed up the first night build, which we never even got around to testing before I realised I'd messed it up. Last week we got a little bit sidetracked because of Raspberry Pi 5 launching, and we talked mostly about that all night. Also, we were an hour late starting. So today, this evening, I am getting this damn thing done. Right. Okay. So this should, in theory, let's get the meter out. Some stuff, so I've got some space to work on. Okay. Multimeter, continuity mode. Yep. So if this is wired the way I think it is, I find ground. Ground should be there, and it is. That's ground. 5 volts should be there, and it is. So why didn't that work last week then? Hang on a minute. Right, just 1 minute. Okay, yes. Ground. Right, and what's underneath doing? Also ground. So, okay. So why didn't this work? That's the jack. I can't even plug it in, can I? Because the pitch is wrong. Any advice on that, Martin? I'm confused. So if that's plugged in, it is working how I thought it worked. And that middle pin isn't connected to anything. It doesn't do... But this definitely wasn't working the other week. No. Okay, it is on ground. And that's also ground. And that's 5 volts on the back, which is what you'd expect. I appreciate it's a switch mechanism. That is strange. Is it some... I don't know. Something was not quite right last week. I know that much. All right. So that's pretty much going to work how I thought it was going to work, if that makes any sense at all. So the other thing I had to cut out last week was the capacitor. So basically we're putting a electrolytic capacitor just to act as a smoothing cap in the supply. So the way the supply works is that we're taking 9 volts from power supply, and we're using a voltage regulator to regulate it down to 5 volts that we're then outputting. And we need to actually, that reminds me, we need to change these 2 pins here to 4, because we're going to have 2 grounds, 2 5-volt positives, and they're going to split off and power the Raspberry Pi side and the Arduino side of our Tiny Basic system separately. So what I will do is a bit more flux. I'm going to take that off and we'll put a new 4-way pin header on. I've just seen in the chat Martin says he doesn't know what's going on either. No, I don't understand that. There we go. So we'll just take that off there for a minute. And we'll cut ourselves a fresh piece of pin header in a minute and get that on. I've got to remember now, I've got a very small space to work on camera because the zoom in on the lens. So probably need some more light in here, in all honesty. It's always something I've struggled with. Seems to be I've got 2 separate LED lights on this, and it's clearly not enough. Right. So we agree that's ground. So with electrolytic capacitors, they have a stripe. Because here they have a stripe down one side. The stripe indicates negative. Negative is always the short leg. So we're going to go something, let's have a look. Probably going to go something like that, really. I took the other one out because it got very hot when I did the desoldering, which I did off camera. And I was just a bit concerned about, you don't really want to be boiling electrolytic capacitors. So I thought, let's not, bother with that. So we're just using this cap. We don't need it. It's just going to be a smoothing capacitor, just to help smooth out any bumps in the power supply if it happens to be dirty, which on modern switching supplies, it probably isn't really needed, but, we'll put it in because it's good practice. Right, so. Well, if that's ground, I'm guessing we could just link the... We could just sort of do that, couldn't? It's a bit wobbly, but we could. Can you see that? We could just bend the leg, go through like that. Get my blower blue tack. There we go. So if that ground's doing something, let's make it do something useful. I've gone to all the trouble to mill this hole through the PCB we're working on, so there we go, that's on. And then we'll just carefully cut off the excess. Like that. This piece of wire wrap was, where was that going? Was that going to the other side? I think it was going to the other, it was over here, wasn't it? Going to the other side of the capacitor. Sorry, I've got transistors on the brain at the moment because we're doing something like that at work for the first year students. They're going to learn about basic electronic components. And how do you do an hour lecture on the capacitor and another hour on a resistor and another hour lecturing? Not practical, just lecturing. We have got some plans to make it remotely interesting for the poor young people that would have to endure that. I say poor, but you know, when we get them up to speed on that, I think it's going to be fantastic for them. Right, that goes on there like that. So that'll be the smoothing cap installed. Let's have a think now. To be honest with you, we could just, I hate to like reuse bits of wire wrap like this, but I should color code that because I can't just use a bit of old wire wrap. So wire wrap, which is great for PCB building, and a bit of black wire wrap just to act as, so we know we're color coding what we're doing, so we know what things are. Just going to cut the smallest bit off. Oops. You should be able to use this without needing to trim the plastic back, but what the hell. What the hell, I'm going to do it anyway. Right. So that's ground in the middle. Then we can go from the middle right into the center leg of the three-legged voltage regulator, which is the base or the ground. Take a knife, just cut off that. So there we go. I can hear the kettle boiling downstairs. Oh, we're over an hour in. That's in, so I think a tea break might be in order shortly. So what we'll do next is, I'm just going to, actually before we do anything else, because I'm getting paranoid tonight, let's just double check I have got that the right way around, because, you know, that would not be good if it was the wrong way around, for very obvious reasons. Yay, famously not an idiot. Right, there we go, brilliant. So that is the correct way around. Okay, everybody, my cup of tea is, there we are, cup of tea cam. Kind of a bit empty and a bit cold. So, I think a cup of tea break is in order, and when we come back, we'll finish off getting this done, and we will then look at testing it. So, tea break, I'll be back in 5-10 minutes, worst case scenario. we're back. Hello to everyone who's managed to... Oh, 5 of you managed to stay. We're back. Tea in hand. Right. Check this out. There we are. Yeah, that's much better. Right. So back to, if you're just joining us and wondering what on earth is going on, we're building a small power regulator for a 9-volt supply for our tiny basic computer system. So that's working. That's working okay. We have got it. The polarity is the correct way round. So yep. So now what we need to do is we need to fit some pin header just here. I only put 2 on last time, and we need to put 4 on this time. So hang on. So let's cut some pin header down. Yeah, I'll do. Oh yeah. Right. I was having a conversation with some of my colleagues at work over the week, and I sort of said, you know, I kind of happened to mention that I do electronics live in real time on air. He looks a bit horrified at me. I'll be honest with you, I don't quite know why I do this, but something to do. And this is colour of tea should always be the colour of He-Man. Okay, yeah. He-Man's actually a tiny little bit before my time, actually. I think that stopped being popular and came off terrestrial television around the time I was born, so I don't remember it. I know of it. Obviously, I've never really watched it. Things like Thundercats was still going when I was growing up. That ran into anything that ran into the very early 90s. So any kind of hangover from the 80s that I would have remembered. But yeah, I know people go, well, how old are you? And I go, well, you know, mid-30s. So born mid to late 1980s. So, and yes, I do BBC Micros. So Martin's going, no way. Yeah, way. I was 3 years old in 1990. So that gives you an idea. Just trying to suppose they're going to tin or not. This might be a problem. Try not to make a mess of this. I can hear a budgie. Those damn birds. How are we going to do this? This is going to be a bit tricky. And already the pins are sliding, which is annoying. Right. Hang on. Okay. You'll have been 13. Yeah, so you're like 10 years older than me then. But most retro people are now in their early to mid 40s, the earliest. Most of them. I'm about 10 years younger than most. I've just taken a mouthful of soldering there. Yeah, but I do actually I put this in my article in when I did about the BBC Micro and Pixel Addicts, Pixel Addicts magazine, that I did put that I actually use these machines or the BBC Micros in anger because our school literally had this 80s hangover. Excuse me, cup of tea. And we ran BBC Micros into like the 2000s. The entire 90s were like devoted to BBC Micros, and we didn't have PC or anything. So that's how I had those 8-bit machines, and you know, that very early exposure from the sort of early 90s of BBC Micro is why I kind of, you know, there's something very special about the BBC Micro. And we'd had early Macintosh at home through Dad's work before I even went to school. And so the Mac was the first computer that I ever, black and white Mac, but that was the first ever computer I had exposure to. But the BBC Micros, I didn't know what 8-bit was or anything like that, but it was just something about it that was very clunky and interesting that kind of kept me with those machines. And it was that early exposure, so I can, you know, say that I had used some of the retro tech in anger as mainstream machines at the time. Right, that's on. So this next bit is going to be horribly fiddly. So all we need to do now is carefully wire wrap. I hope you can see this, or I wish I could zoom in a bit more, but again, I'm struggling to do that, and I don't want to mess things up. Right, so basically I've got a 4-pin header, and I want to split. I want the 2 to be 5 volts, so we've got 5-volt line needs to come from over here and wrap around, and 2 needs to be ground. So they need to go like ground 5 volt, ground 5 volt. So let's use blue for, I can find the end of the blue. It should be somewhere. There we go. So wire wrap, blue, and we just want to sort of run a cable just around the top. And we just need to run that to ground actually. So let's just get a decent end. Apologies if my head gets to the top of shot. Excellent. And we're going to go to, that's ground right there, so we can just working in shadow now. I can't see what I'm doing, so there we go. That should be onto ground. We'll test all this in a minute, obviously, just to make sure that, you know, the thinking is correct. Oh, that's a bit too much. Okay. Really important to make sure that we get the polarities the right way around for the standard that we're creating for the cable. So trying to think if there's anything else to tell you at the minute. While we're doing this, just a bit more flux needed. We started work on the new proposed YouTube channel for the university engineering department. So I actually started shooting content especially for that. That will be completely separate to what we do here on Wi-Fi Sheep. So the common fact is it's using Wi-Fi Sheep cameras and resources, and it's me presenting. And I will give everyone a link to that if they're interested. It's sort of very much corporate for the uni, you understand. So it's a bit different to what we do here. But it will be like a third sort of tech channel. I've made a very horrible mess underneath. It'll be a third corporate tech channel. Well, third tech channel with a more corporate element that I run. But it won't be a Wi-Fi Sheep channel. So on that channel it will be squeaky clean edited, and we won't be making any sort of mistakes. Promise. Oh dear. Okay. So that's done. That wasn't too bad. So those two pins are ground. And just because I'm getting paranoid, let's just check with the multimeter. Just check that we are actually, the multimeter's getting tangled up of itself, which is never great. Hang on a minute. Just check we have got continuity. Yep, we have. And nothing else is shorting, which is great. Okay, that's fantastic. So that's fine. So now what we need to do is we need to go from this pin here. So that's the 5-volt pin. And we need to wrap 5 volts around to the 2 voltage pins this side. Then, because I'm feeling brave, we might actually put 9 volts on. And we'll run it with a multimeter and just see what we get out this end. And if we get anything that looks even remotely correct, then I'm going to say that's job done. Just trim that down a bit. It's a bit crude kind of wiring to the top of the leg, but you know, it works. So there we go, that's on. Haven't seen Gertmon on tonight. I hope he's doing all right. He has said to me before that these are a little bit late for him, so sometimes he pops on, but then, you know, he needs to go to bed. I should be going to bed earlier than I do for these, but you know, that's why we do it on a weekend and not on a Sunday night, so I can go to the pub. Come on. I might need to get a bit of flux on that. Solder might help. Ugh, face full of it then. That would sound wrong if you were just joining us. Oh my god, will that not stick? Quite annoying. Right, just flux that up. Let's try that again. There we are. That's better. That's better. And then just finally we need to wrap right round onto here. Sorry, I jumped just then because I felt something very warm on my arm and then realised it's a cup of tea. Again, apologies if I can't see if I'm getting in. No, I'm not getting in shot actually. It's not the best joint in the world, that. It'll work. Solder joint, that is. Okay. Okay, right, there we are then. So, bit of luck. That might work. What do we reckon? Get it more central for you, as you can see it. Sorry, just dead air while I try and look for something I'm trying to find all day. With not much luck. Right. Let's just scope that out again. We're doing all right for time. I intend to be on till 10:30. I don't particularly want to be on much later myself because we have a visitor tomorrow. I won't go into too much detail, but Lee, who is somewhere on the chat, is actually coming to visit the Wi-Fi Sheep tomorrow. So I think you are one of 2 visitors that have ever actually visited for various reasons. And no, that's not an open invitation, but just check that's okay. It is. So, yeah. So it'll be very interesting tomorrow. And you can actually see for yourself how small this room is. Should be big enough to work in anyway. I'm going to get another chair in here tomorrow, but yeah, another night. Not my crap chair from before, but another decent chair for 2 people. I say one of 2 YouTube channel visitors. I have had colleagues and people in here before in relation to work contracts. Not work as in what I do now, but work as in what I did do when I was freelance building computers. So we're just going to check. Hang on. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. That's 5 volts. Oh, sorry, 9 volts in there. That's fine. Ground is there. A. Now got no ground. Don't tell me this is now playing up. Hang on. Just don't let me get the blue tack off. Why is that now messing up? So we've got ground, we've got ground. So we've got ground there. And now we've got ground there. That's something a bit flaky about this, but okay. Okay, well that does seem to be all right. Famous last words. Now, let's have a think. Let's go and grab a 9-volt battery from somewhere. Got one in this box. My 9-volt battery thing that we prepared the other time is still on that board from work. So let's just take that out. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, in theory, this is a bit crude, but we could just wrap these wires together temporarily. Sort of like that. Yeah, it only works if this is a really bad practice, because this isn't gonna sort of twisting wires together and hoping it's gonna stay. Not short and oh, damn it! Come on, come on! You know you want to stay. Right, that is really not great, but it'll do for these purposes. So, 9-volt battery. Making sure those don't touch and short. That's now on. Multimeter into test mode. Find a ground point. And ground 7 point. Yeah, this battery is a little bit on the low side. That's fine. 5 volts. So 7 point something coming in. Should be 9. It's a little low. 5 volts coming out. And 5 volts on that pin. 5 volts on that pin. Excellent. So let's actually, for safety, let's just disconnect the battery so we don't end up shorting things out. Nothing worse than an overheating battery that's directly shorting itself. Okay, that worked. Let's try it on the power supply. Just going to unplug my soldering iron. We will need it again in a minute, but just for the minute, we'll be all right. So, 9 volts and 2 amps, 9 volt 2 amp out. It's now very, very loose fit that. Okay. Let's repeat the process and see if this now is as expected. So onto ground. Hang on. Make sure I'm in the right mode. There we go. Slight fluctuation there, but that's 5 volts. 5 volts. 5 volts. Oops. Still on ground. 9.40 coming in. 5 volts almost exactly coming out. Voltage regulator doing its job. Capacitor smoothing the circuit. That tick could well be the capacitor just charging and discharging to smooth out the power supply. There we go. It works. It actually works, and we're running off the mains. I've just tested that running off the mains for a power transformer, and it works. How brilliant is that, eh? Thank you. Round of applause for Martin. Thank you, Martin. We got there in the end. Great. So, okay. Well, I suppose now the thing to do is to, let's just power that down. We need to get the machine out, don't we? And we need to do a test. See if this fixes the power. But the whole reason we were doing this is we were having power regulation problems. So that's why we decided to build a new, it's not a power supply, it's just a regulator. The power supply is in that plug, power transformer. But we want to run enough amps so we can run the Arduino, which is where our tiny basic Project Rio kernel lives, and we can run the Raspberry Pi. Bearing in mind we were running a original Pi 1, so I was half expecting there was going to be problems because those Pi 1s were terrible for voltage regulation. So that's superb. I've got to adjust this camera because I keep going off the top of frame. Oh, thank you, Martin. Well done. Thank you. Well, well done you as well. A, for sticking around, and B, for suggesting some things, which were greatly appreciated. Yeah, we got another half hour yet, so there's a couple of things I want to actually do with the board itself, unit itself. Let's just grab that. Excuse me a minute, or I just lean down. Right, here it is. So where I zoom out, don't I? Yeah, so you can see something like that. So this is an ITX, off-the-shelf ITX case from China, and I spray painted the front plastic bezel yellow with a kind of a rock stone texture front, so it looks a little bit different. The USB ports, the power button, which has actually been doubled up as reset button, are all stock to the case. I've got another one of these now for the next build. So let's find a screwdriver. Not sending everything flying. Oh, don't stab myself with it. Yeah, welcome to Accidents on Camera. Just as a quick show of hands for anyone listening on the chat, anyone actually thinking of coming to the Risk Christmas Market event in person? Be good to see you in person if you can make it, West Midlands. I can put up the slide again very quickly. There you go. Just basically literally in a village just beside Dwightwich Spa. That sounded wrong as I said it. Sort of South Birmingham kind of way off the M5 motorway. So I'm going to be there with a stand with projects, basically, well, like this. This will be here, and you'll be able to see it in person. Okay. So I think the sort of plan is this is sort of going to sit kind of in there. This might move back a little bit because it's not particularly well stuck down anymore, so it can move back. Let's just come completely clean out the plastic case, which I need to do a little bit of tweaking to the case to get it to fit, but tricky from Essex. No, I wouldn't come to it if you're all the way in Essex. It's not worth it. I'll be brutally honest with you. Wakefield, yeah, no. I used to do the Risco Wakefield show when it moved to Bradford. I don't think I'm doing anything up north for quite some time now, but yeah, no, it's not like a Cambridge or a sort of VCF type thing. It's not worth travelling from that far afield. I've been brutally honest with you. But obviously, it would have been absolutely lovely to have seen you and appreciated. But it's probably not worth it. If it's more like an hour away or something, then you might want to consider it. But obviously, it's always completely up to you. So that will kind of go kind of like that, really. So I'm wondering, should we just leave this outside the case and just run some jumpers to the separate power? So, because what's happening at the moment is we're relying on the voltage regulator of this to give the 5 volts to power the Pi, and the Pi isn't getting the ampage or the voltage. So the power regulators on these clone, mega boards, sorry, are not doing enough job. We're getting too much of a voltage drop. And even when we tried the power supply directly in the barrel jack here, it was still having trouble. So I'm hoping that after messing around with all this, so that's the power plugs, which we'll take out. There we go. So how this is going to work now is we're going to give ground, and we'll try going in through voltage. Try and feed VIN. There we go. And then we'll go ground and voltage onto the pin header. Hope you can see that all right. Okay, so that's the Nano powered up. Now, have I got another set of... What do I need? I need... Oh, that might be tricky. I need to go female plug to female plug. Oh, I used to have loads of stuff like this lying around. Now, have I got anything? Again, it's stuff I keep buying jumper leads and cables and things, and I lose them all. Or I manage to destroy them, which I don't know if any of you are the same, but for me, I'm just like, oh, that's another one I've managed to single-handedly break. You know. Or let's solder them all together for some random, unknown, crazy reason that I can't possibly begin to justify. Hey, there we are. Luckily, I had some in one of the. I know what these, drawers full of components would have what I need somewhere. So there we go. There's a bit of rainbow lead. So we need color combination. Great. Split that in two. Yes. So that is terrible. Why is that so bad? I'm just going to slide her off. I've got a pin. I thought I saw a pin somewhere. Just need to make a. Hang on. Just need to make a tiny adjustment. It's a bit better. Stop that pin just sliding straight off. That's better. There we go. So yeah, yellow will be ground. Orange will be voltage. And we're going onto the pi, 5 volts, 5 volts, ground. You know it's bad when you can memorize a pi GPIO. Okay. Barrel connector in. Just double check we've got this right. Voltage, ground, voltage, ground, ground, and voltage. Fingers crossed. Okay, well they're both powered up and they seem relatively happy. Oh my god, that regulator's getting hot. Wow, that's getting hot. Seriously? That's going to need a heatsink on it. Bloody hell, that is getting hot. Wow. That can't be right. That got so hot I couldn't touch it. It's only 2 amp. Why is that getting so hot in 2 amps? Wow. Or maybe they do get that hot. I don't know. Good grief. I can always do if someone suggested thermal coupling that to the case just to distribute the heat, and I kind of agree. Wow. Sorry, I'm just that's taking me back a little bit. Okay. Let's grab that monitor again, which I've hidden. and we'll set that up on the side. Although that regulator's getting very hot and might do something nasty like expire. Actually, that's the point. If it did expire, that's going to put 9 volts, isn't it? Which is going to be, that would cope. Did it get hot the other week? So Mark just said it got hot the other week. Did it get hot the other week and I don't remember? Oh, well, a lot has happened since then. Maybe it did. Did we even test it on load? We've never tested it on load, I know that much. Might have some tweaking to do here. Well, I've got plenty of others if it did expire. It's just the fact what I don't want to happen is I don't want 9 volts on the Pi side, because that will be another Pi we broke. It's mainly how I've broken Pis is voltage mishap. Okay. Let's just put that on that video. So we just get composite out video, which is black on the case. Power supply for that is over here. We might need to think about some sort of heat sink if that is going to get that hot. Just cables everywhere. There you go. You can see that now. Power you back up. There you go. Your monitor is on. There is the monitor. We need a keyboard. Just a little USB keyboard that I'll just have off screen. That can go into the top of the case, just off camera up there. Martin, I said use the chassis as oh yeah, sorry, yeah, right. You said that's right. You said use the chassis as a heatsink. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you are right, actually. Sorry, Martin. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean now. I remember. Okay. Hang on, nothing is now happening. Why is nothing happening? Make sure the barrel connector is in correctly. There we go. It's a very loose fitting. I'm not getting any video. Why aren't I getting any video? I'm on the right AV port. Hang on. On the wrong AV port. There we go. Right. Take numlock off. So keyboard is running. Let's. No, we weren't getting. I know you can't see that. I might be able to turn the light off. Actually, you can see the glow over here as it overheats. That'd be funny. Let's just get to the light switch. Just turn it off a little bit so you can see. Hopefully, see the screen a little bit better. Right. Load. Let's do lines.bas. This is so we're loading a file lines.bas from the SD card. List. Have we crashed? We've crashed again. And what has crashed? Is the machine crashed? Or was the Pi crashed again? Pi's crashed again. Nope, it's not happy. Let's just make sure the SD card is properly in this one. This was the behavior we were having. Okay. It crashed again. Which is beginning to make me think. What do I think? That's a good question. Is it this Pi that's bad? Might be the Pi, but the Pi's been modified, you see, so it's not just a case of just easily swapping it out, but that seems even more unstable than what we had. That is. Let's just take these cables out in a minute. That's worse behaving than what we had the other time. The whole reason we started building this power supply was to sort that out. So that is disappointing to say the least. I'm beginning to think this board's suspect, you know, because that behaviour is not great. What I'm just going to do, I'm just going to put some pin header clumsily into here and here. Oh, get on. Good evening. Can you try a separate supply to the Pi? Yes. If I do, which we absolutely can, we can completely 100% do that. It will probably be absolutely fine. So I've got a power supply. This is a Raspberry Pi 3 5 volts. I think we did this last time and it was absolutely fine. I got a feeling it's these Pi 1 models which just don't like not being powered. Well, they're very funny about being powered sort of through the GPIO. So I'm just trying to get this connector into the official power supply. Right, so totally separate power supply. Those aren't connected to anything, right? I don't think the Pi will crash if it's on a separate supply, as it didn't last time. So saying that video feed's gone very weak. It's a bit strange. Hang on. Let me just think about this a minute. Just have a think about this a minute. Chop up a micro USB cable power. Yeah, that had occurred to me actually, and we might end up doing that. Just hang on a minute. I need to be very careful how I do this. So if we piggyback so we're going to power up through the Pi, piggyback the Pi's 5 volts back into the Arduino. So we're not going to use the barrel connect supply at the minute. Take that off. That seems happier. He says. We're not seeing. Now we're not seeing the Arduino. 5 volts to ground. Let's take that and put it directly into 5 volts. You're on the ground, you're 5 volts. Waiting for UART. Have I just blown the UART up? Nope. Is that getting hot? It's normally a sign of there's a problem if the chip the image CPU starts to get hot. Failing now, we've blown the voltage regulators up. Should have been fine. Let's just try resetting that again. No, not happy. Not happy. Let's just think about this a minute. And yeah, Master just powered Nevada PSU. Yes, I just want to make sure that I haven't then got multiple 5 volts showing up. I know what you mean. Let's just think about this a minute. Let's just pop this back how we did have it. I have a feeling we might be replacing some parts again here. I think I may have made a mistake. At least if we can go back to what we had stable, then we know what is and isn't working. So you were on Then, which was on the end, ground, then 5 volts, 5 volts, 5 volts, ground, back onto the PSU. Good evening to Trawling Around, saying time to get the multimeter. I think so. I have a feeling something just may have gone bang. Right. No, that's not happy now. I'll tell you why it's not happy. Because the pin's just... Oh, for God's sake. The ground's just broken on that. Hang on. Hang on. I think I figured that one out. Let's put a new pin header on. Have I got a common ground to the Pioneer Arduino? No. That was what I suddenly realised. I hadn't. But we'll set that up in a minute. Let's just try and get this back to what we had a moment ago. Right. Ground, 5 volts. Oh dear. This is not looking particularly promising. Let's just find out. Okay. Bum. That is not good. Damn. So something has gone wrong on the UART. What we could do is just to rule a couple of things out. I've got a couple of spare original boards. So what we could just try take the SD card out. I think I know what might have happened actually, which is not good news, but this is why we build prototypes. Can we break everything? So that's UART. That's the serial for the UART in on those pins. Five volts and ground. Video. Just make sure that board doesn't short out on anything. Okay. No, we've got a problem. UART's gone poof. I think it has, and I think it's gone because it goes. It may not be the UART itself that's failed, but it could be the voltage regulator has gone. Not voltage. Sorry, level shifter. There's the level shifters just off camera, just here. You can see in the board. There's level shifters. I'd blown up a set of those already. Due to a mistake, which wasn't great. Let's just power up So no, this is not particularly stable. Oh, yeah, this connector is not particularly amazing connection. Oh dear. We might be rebuilding this machine a little sooner than I thought. Just turn that off a moment. Damn it, this is annoying if this has gone bang. Apologies, you're not going to be able to see this. Can I try and do this in a way that you can? High voltage 4 volts, low voltage 3.3 volts, that's fine. Ground minus, this is the low side channels, high side channels, minus 3.3. Minus 3. That's weird. Minus 3.3. Okay. That's the UART serial that side. That's the high voltage side. That seems fine. Let's just see. Oh, that's because the voltage is. Let's just see if we can. What were we getting out of the UART channels? .29 there, that's fine. Bang on. That's also fine. Weird. Properly weird. Power regulator. Doesn't seem so bad when it's just powering one device. It's powering two. It's really stressing out. I'm just wondering, just turn it off a minute. I'm just wondering if I've got a couple of these mega boards. I think one of them, at least one, has got the. Is that one there? Got the IDE. This one here might have the IDE on. It might just be the case of just running TX to RX straight into a Pi and just seeing if that runs. Trolling around is saying got to go. Watch the remainder later. I won't be here much longer myself actually, because we're coming up to past just about now. Oh dear. something has gone disastrously wrong this evening. That's not good. That's really not good. Oh God, that's annoying. It'll probably work fine when it's off camera. You know it'll work fine. How annoying. Something ain't right. No worries, Gertmon. Thank you so much for your company this evening. I think we broke it. Correction, I broke it. It's very broken. Yeah. I've got a power supply overheating. I've got UART not working. I think we must have fried it. Ah, oh, God knows. I need to. I think the only thing we can do is obviously we just need to swap out components. Which I might do off camera actually. That's properly annoying. Okay, well we'll leave that there for tonight. It's not the end of the world if that's blown up again. I have spares. It might be we're getting into the zone of needing to build a new prototype, which is going to turn into the PCB prototype, which was going to use Pi Zero. Maybe we need to use Pi Zero in this so we don't have the voltage regulator issues. That's a possibility. I need to do a bit of testing just to see what has gone wrong. I have a feeling I've fried something. I've made a mistake with the power supply and I've fried something. It could be that 5 volts and an additional 5 volts have met each other. That is strange though, but I'll keep testing and we'll see where we get to. So time just gone 10:30 in the evening here in the UK. So thank you so much for your company as always. We've ended on a bit of a disastrous note this evening. It's just stuff all over this desk. It's terrible. If you haven't done so already, please do consider liking and subscribing. And I will hope to see you real soon right here on the channel. From me live here on 8 till late from Wi-Fi Sheep, I wish you a very good evening. Good night.